tragedy of it. It scars the soul.
The halls of the University of Dayton Fieldhouse echoed with the voice of Martin Luther King Jr. The November 1964 speech was powerful and passionate in its optimism.
We have come a long, long way in the struggle to make civil rights a reality.
King was in Dayton, Ohio to raise funds for his civil rights agenda. Ted Clark was 28 at the time and was one of the few whites in attendance. He remembers exactly where he sat.
I have to admit there was a little apprehension.
During the 1960s, Dayton, like so many other American cities, was caught up in the struggle for racial and economic equality.
Where do we see it? We see it in housing. I imagine you have a little less problem here in Dayton. Plenty of it.
I could just feel the electricity in this place. It was unbelievable.
And I am absolutely convinced that the system of segregation is on its deathbed today.
Over time, the recording had been forgotten until Professor Emeritus Herb Martin stumbled across it.
So I was going to tape over it, but luckily fate kept me from doing that.
Martin collected used reels to re-record his performances of poet Paul Laurence Dunbar.
Jump back, honey, jump back.
A hobby which inspired a documentary by independent filmmaker David Schock. That's how Schock and Martin came to hear the King speech.
You think, wow, this is really something of value.
Nonviolence gives you the power to stand up here and now against the evils of our days.
45 years later, Dayton has changed, but Clark believes there is still progress to be made.
Friends of mine, they have a racial attitude. They really do. Yes, it's out there.
Segregation is still with us. And if democracy is to live, segregation must die.
To further that goal, Martin has donated the tape to the university archives.
We've seen the system of racial segregation crumble.
Giving a piece of newly discovered history a second chance to be heard. Michelle Miller, CBS News, New York.